Good evening. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up for the evening of Monday, and this is the 28th of April, 2025. Can you believe we're going to be in May already? Boy, time is flying. All right, not a bad day in the stock market. A late day rally carried most of the indices back up. Uber was up again today. Amazon down a little bit. You know, Amazon's actually held up pretty good. It's good news for the AWS service, which is holding it up. And now we're going to be looking at earnings. So this is probably where you want to back off a little bit and see if the earnings are looking good, what the guidance is, and what they're saying. So be ready. That's right in front of you. Uranium, very quietly, has come back from $22 back into the 25 zone. So, you know, it's starting to say maybe the $22 area is a floor. We're back over the 180s. In fact, you got near 184.5 in Boeing today. AMC, not going anywhere. None of these movies are helping it. You're back into the 285 zone in Tesla. Gold was up $4 today. Copper backed off a little, but the futures were up. And it was sort of a mixed bag in U.S. automakers here as they're just going back and forth right now, not doing an awful lot. Google down a little bit. So what do we have tomorrow? Well, we have earnings, of course, so you want to pay attention to that. Let's take a look at the reports you have coming out in the morning. You're going to have weekly retail sales from Redbook Group at 7:55. The Case-Shiller 20 metro home area for February prices are going to come out at 8. We're going to get the Conference Board U.S. Consumer Confidence Index will be released at 9 in the morning. U.S. jobs and labor turnover, the JOLTS report, that's going to be an important number. People will look at that. And that for March is coming out tomorrow at 9. And we're going to get petroleum stock numbers at 9:30. But we have a lot of the Mag 7 coming out this week. And I think what you want to do is turn to them and understand where you're going with them. And that's important. You keep seeing me flash behind me. I want to get back to the charts. So here we are. Intel. What Intel did is it came back, filled the gap that it had left, and it's not telling you a big story here. I'd be more impressed if you took out that spike high and closed over it for a real story than I am with this little bit of action. What you have right now are higher lows and a higher high. So I'm calling the short-term trend to the upside. Most traders are still saying it's got a ways to go. It's got to rebuild. I get it. But chart action, take the name off the chart. That's no longer in a downtrend. The market is closed over the 100-day average. I'm sorry, the 18-day average, the red line. The 100 is acting as resistance. My brain was faster than my mouth. And that number's in the green right here. The gray is the 200-day average of closes. So you still have a bearish setup in moving averages in that the lowest average, the 18, is under the 100 and the 100's under the 200. So it's a bounce in a market that's still structured bearish long-term, but a nice bounce and saying maybe this was too low in the market. I can live with that. You're getting more resistance to show up by the Bollinger Band coming down. Remember what the Bollinger Band is. It's an algorithm designed to keep the markets trading within it 95% of the time. And if you go back and you look at charts and you say, well, if I bought over the Bollinger Band, how did I do? How did I do? If I sold under it, how did I do? If I bought over it, how did I do? Gives you an idea how traders look at it. Do you see what I'm getting at? So come up there in the 22, 22, 30 area. I think you're going to have resistance tomorrow if you can get that high, and that would be about $1.50 to $2 higher. The first real resistance, as I see it, is going to be the 100-day. But again, until you take out the lows of Friday, this market's back in the bull camp. You re-enter the bear play in a big way. If you take out 2034, is that 20 or 19? Let's just see what this low was right here. That was 1934. If you take out 1934, you open the door up for the lower Bollinger Band. You'll have caught a group of people long here and probably drop down there. You know, just a chart pattern. I don't know if it'll work or not. In Orly, which is O'Reilly Auto, all right, it's had to absorb a lot of talk because nobody knows what Trump's doing with auto parts. I mean, We know that there's parts of cars for new production, and he's got maybe an idea of an exclusion there, but we haven't heard. What do you do for your existing windshield wiper blades that are made in China? Headlamps. I mean, I can go on and on, as you know. If you've bought auto parts, you know a lot of them are not made in America. What's that going to do to us? So they're sitting here because they don't know themselves. We're not getting a clean story. Home Depot. Higher lows, higher highs. You can see where it's going. It's interesting. This afternoon, I had to run out and get some high-definition wire at Home Depot. And I haven't bought wire probably in 6 months. I'm really good with my hands around the house. I love doing projects. It gets me away from the market. I take an hour away a day and do things. All of a sudden, I couldn't buy the wire. All the spools, and I was buying 500-foot spools, all of the wire is locked up in cages. And I went to the guy, why? He said, they're stealing stuff like there's no tomorrow. I said, but you've got girls at every counter. He said, it doesn't matter. They figure out ways, and he says, we do the inventory. Interesting point on it, because I don't know about your Home Depot. If you go in Chicago, there's plenty of staff. Even though it says self-checkout, there is one of their helping you. I want to make that clear. Smile, helping you to do your checkout. I am not saying it's not friendly. You walk in the store, hi, how are you? I like that a lot, okay? I wish other stores followed that. Higher lows, higher highs, sort of fighting a battle here. You get back under 354.61, this break low, and close under it, you turn the chart bearish again, momentum got overbought, and you'd be looking back here potentially at wherever that Bollinger Band is as a potential target. In Google, I think that on Friday, when the market got to the upper Bollinger Band first time in an overbought market, not in a trend, I think the smart money, quote unquote, came out against that, and they just walked away from the market for a moment here. More and more cases coming up, but it's still the best search engine if you're going out there, the best one I've seen, and it does a really good job of what it does. Now they're saying it's collecting information on Chrome again and doing different things as the search engine's being used. I don't know. Higher lows, higher highs on Netflix. It's back into the 1100 zone. We'll see. Where would you put a stop on this if you bought it now? That becomes the issue. Are we going to see where prices keep going up? Now, you do know that you have what I call a KISS pattern right here. And on that KISS pattern, you should always look at these. The 100-day average and the 18 got together. Look at how they are. They just ran right into each other. The 18 had been over it. It slid into it. It kissed it. And then the market said, okay, I'm going to flip-flop on you, and the 18 went up, and it kicked the momentum with the market of it. Always look for those patterns. They're very interesting. And I'm going to teach you again. Take the name off the chart. Look at the pattern. If you learn to trade the pattern, I think you're better off than trading the name that you've got a preconceived idea about. In Robinhood, we've been running the upper band. Remember, this is one of those markets people said, oh, the retail trader is not going to be here in this market. He's here, and he's here in a big way. But you did have a key reversal. You made the highest high of this recent move. You hit the Bollinger Band again, closed lower. So until today's high is taken out, I'd be cautious and be treating the market that maybe, just maybe, you have to wait for a better break and see how the market does if you want to enter it towards the 100-day average than up here. In ExxonMobil, what's going to happen with energy? If crude goes down, I don't believe these can stay up. So that's the big question. And I think tariff wars are bearish energy, not bullish. Now, I admit there's two parts out there I know nothing about. Is Iran going to be able to do a deal with the United States on nuclear treaty? That would probably open up more oil from them. Will Russia make a deal with Ukraine? Don't know. I know that Russia declared today there's going to be a 3-day, on their part, no activity from their military as they celebrate the end of the liberation of World War II. Okay. And properly, Zelensky say, let's do it now. Let's make it longer. Well, that's not the pressure that Putin wants. I don't know what Putin wants. Lower low, higher high, overbought. Not interested in stocks up here. It's too overbought, and maybe the Bollinger Band, but I'm not friendly at this point. Not bearish either. When I look at XLF, the short-term trend is up. It's very overbought. It's holding and trying to hold as you can see it, this 200-day average. I don't see anything to get bearish or bullish on. I think it's just a chart that's become uninspiring to me. When I look at the industrial sector, can it pick up? Why? That's the first thing I ask myself. Can we make enough goods to make up for what China's got? Do we have the tooling? How are we going to resource? You know, it doesn't do, as I see it, any good for Apple to be building phones in India if we want the jobs here in America. So I don't know. And every time I'm seeing another set of numbers come out from the different regions, they're not big numbers to the upside, yet this market's got to bounce. Okay, so the chart action, if you take off the name, it's overbought in an uptrend, a lot of resistance right up here. That could be what it wants to target. On the energy sector, this chart action is friendly and overbought. We have a theme. Pay attention to the theme. You've come off the April lows. You've rallied a lot, you've gotten overbought, you have markets that are in uptrends, not downtrends all over the place, and they're so overbought. Is that what you want to buy into? You have that theme everywhere that you look. In the gold, you lost the bullish embedded reading. So in my eye, before you go back up for this 321 area here, I think you're going to go back and visit the 18-day average of closes. No, I'm not bearish, but momentum generally leads price. Silver, just plain overbought, been keeping up with gold, but hasn't certainly gained on it. If you look at my futures, I show you the gold-silver ratio there. In the copper market, a problem at the 100-day average and very overbought. So there's that theme again. BND, overbought in an uptrend at the 200-day average. Where would you put a stop? Do you want to buy an overbought condition? That's up to you. We've had no work to be short, but no reason to be long. There's a difference there. The dollar flashing new signs that maybe it wants to come down again. Remember, this is a market that lost its bearish embedded reading. It would have to re-embed to tell me there's more downside, but I'm not comfortable if this low right here is taken out. That should not happen. If it does, you've caught another group long and this market keeps coming down. If the futures fail on the dollar and they start coming down, there could be another 7 to 10% in the dollar down. That's a big move. In the FXE, trying for the upside, but too overbought. We've had that theme everywhere. It's a theme I walk away from. You can trade it, but I find you get chopped up in that type of theme more than you accomplish too much. Is this the time to just go buying overbought markets? Well, you'll hear me talk about it in my newsletters. You want to look at our price counts and get some of our other offerings here. How do you do it? You go to IraEpstein.com, free offers. You can click an icon that I'll have up here for you, and we'll get it out to you as soon as you fill out the form, typically the next business day. I'm Ira. Have yourself a great day.